Hey friends, here I am. I am at Shouldice Hospital in Toronto. I'm sitting, clearly, as you can sort of maybe see, there's a beautiful natural setting here. This hospital, it looks like it was built on an old estate that was purchased at some point by the founding doctor. And I've already been admitted, I've already seen my surgeon, I'm set for 10 a.m. tomorrow. Kind of like, here we go. And then I walked downstairs into the cafeteria and sort of through the cafeteria and found a music room. There's a grand piano sitting right here and it's in tune. I just did an hour or so of practice. I don't know how well I'm going to be sitting for the next few days, but definitely not a bad deal as far as like hospital admissions go. Happy to be here. Got a great vibe from my surgeon. Everything's sounding, pretty straightforward. I think I'm sensitized to what's coming. I walked in and met what I thought was going to be my roommate there are 2 beds to a room, and I walked in and met a guy. He sort of said hi. He was in his 3rd day of recovery. I thought he was going to be my roommate because when I came back an hour or 2 later, he was gone. His bed was stripped. I think he's out of there. But I find myself just being awfully comfortable here. Having finally made this journey, made this trip, had 2 or 3 or more appointments over the past 5 years, and finally made it here. It has a great vibe. The place has a great vibe. And I was put at ease a little bit too regarding, the follow-up, post-op stuff. I was afraid that I was gonna not be able to lift a laptop computer, or like an iPad would be like the limit. But that turns out that's not really true. He was like, yeah, no, you will be fine. You can lift your suitcase, you can do whatever. You're not gonna hurt your surgery. You might, you don't want to go back to work as a construction worker, but beyond that, your tissue will be in good shape. So now I'm going to take it real easy because my roommate that I spoke to, my roommate, non-roommate, literally told me that he had the procedure done and then at some point re-injured it, went back to work too soon, basically. So I've received my cautionary spiel, my cautionary tale, right at the top. And I cannot say I'm looking forward to it. Even just as the guy was like, right, so I met my doctor and he's examining it, and he put a little mark in pen on my skin. And I was like, even as he was using the pen, I was like, ooh, that's sensitive. That's gonna hurt if he starts cutting that open with a scalpel. So here we go. We're going in. I'm going in. But so in addition to my admission here, and a little bit in the vein of what I was speaking about yesterday, I also had some time today to continue reading Edmund Sprunger's book. It's called Helping Children Practice, or Helping Parents Practice. It's about the relationship between parent and young music student. Just a wonderfully written book, witty, deeply insightful. The guy has a psychology degree, but he's also a violinist and a violin teacher and a music teacher. So it's quite a background that he comes from. He's leveraging a lot of skills in service of kind of analyzing and diagnosing and creating some really sound principles for how to engage with your young music student. The book is phenomenal. I've already started taking notes on my phone. Like I've got a list. I'm on like note number 17. And I'm in addition to receiving advice and getting new ideas that are really exciting, I'm also seeing some of my own. It's a bit of a mirror, you know, as I read examples of parental interaction with young kids who study an instrument. I occasionally see myself in those examples, you know, not always in a flattering way. I've said some of the exact sentences that are sort of that he's offering you as like, here's one thing you could say, and here's how that's likely to go, and here's how you can think about shifting that. So, man, you know, it's, you know, one of the things, and it's funny that it sort of like took reading him for me to sort of articulate this for myself, because one of the things the sort of outgoing assumption that he starts from is that practice is not about progress. It's not about getting better. It's not about cleaning things up. It's not about any kind of sort of externally quantified measure of skill or facility. It's about making things easier. That's what it's about. And I say it's hilarious that I had to read Edmund Sprunger before I could kind of hit on this, because I say this all the time. I teach this all the time. This is what I try to embody when I'm teaching a student. And I think I do a pretty good job of that. I think I do a relatively good job of staying in that place. Although I think this will make me better at that, even as a teacher. But it's hilarious to me that orientation that is so natural for me as a teacher, and also in some ways as a musician, as a practicer, that I kind of either drop that or become fixated on other things when I'm working with my daughter. And I've even like heard as I was, you know, reading this book, I was kind of hearing the rationalization in my head about, well, she's so young and this is so rudimentary that we need to build a certain level of skill before we can talk about things in strictly that way. What are you talking about? Of course we need to focus on ease right away. And the thing about focusing on making things easy rather than making things better is that that's a goal that the child actually dearly desires. And if we know that that's the goal, then we're going to change what we do. We're going to approach things differently. We're going to not try to make certain kinds of progress, and rather we're going to focus on bringing ease and allowing ease, and take off bite-sized chunks of the work that are actually possible to experience ease with. It's going to dial back the amount of content that we're trying to practice at any given moment. And it's like just reading the book this morning, I already like can't wait to get home and try it's like sort of like reframe this process for myself. But there's some really beautiful passages about the uniqueness of the relationships between parents and students, and you know, every parent and student, every parent-child relationship is different. I mean, he had me like getting emotional in the introduction to this book, just talking about how beautiful this relationship can be and what we're ultimately doing when we commit to a practice process like this. I just found it found it really moving. So it's a bit of a sidebar from my time here at the hospital, but I knew, and I knew that this time alone, you know, I'm truly on my own up here, and I knew that this time alone was going to give me a chance to do that kind of reflection, and so far I'm getting a nice dose of that. It's really, really powerful. And I'm ready to go into this process. And to be where I am tomorrow. And to heal. To begin to heal. So, thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.